stocks, you rogue.
Your baggage is slies and no rogues. Look in the chronicles. We came with Richard Conqueror. Therefore, Pocus Pulverus, let the world slide. Cessa.
You will not pay for the glasses you have burst?
No, not a denier. Go by Geronimi, go to thy cold bed, and warm thee.
I know my remedy. I must go back to third borough.
Third or fourth or fifth borough, I'll answer him by law. I'll not budge an inch, boy. Let him come, and kindly.
Huntsman, I charge thee, tender well my hounds, Bratch merryman, the poor cur is embossed, and couple clouder with deep mouth Bratch. Soust thou not, boy, how silver made it good. At the hedge corner in the coldest fault, I would not lose a dog for 20 pound.
Why, Bowman is as good as he, my lord. He cried upon it at the mare's lost, and twice today picked out the dullest scent. Trust me, I take him for the better dog.
Thou art a fool. If Echo were as fleet, I would esteem him worth a dozen such. But sup them well, and look unto them all. Tomorrow I intend to hunt again.
I will, my lord.
What's here? One dead or drunk? See, doth he breathe?
He breathes, my lord, were he not warmed with ale. This were but a bed, too cold to sleep so soundly.
Oh, monstrous beast, how like a swine he lies. Grim death, how foul and loathsome is thine image. Sirs, I'll practice on this drunken man. What think if he conveyed to bed, wrapped in sweet clothes, rings put upon his fingers, a most delicious banquet by his bed, and brave attendants near him when he wakes? Would not the beggar then forget himself?
Believe me, sir, I don't think he cannot choose. It would seem strange unto him when he waked.
Even as a flattering dream or worthless fancy, then take him up and manage will the jest. Carry him gently to my fairest chamber, and hang it round with all my wanton pictures. Balm his foul head in warm distilled waters, and burn sweet wood to make the lodging sweet. Procure me music ready when he wakes, to make a dulcet and a heavenly sound. And if he chance to speak, be ready straight with the low submissive reverence. Say, what is it your honor will command? Let one attend him with a silver basin full of water and bestrewed with flowers, another bear the ewer, and the third a diaper, and say, wilt please your lordship cool your hands? Someone be ready with a costly suit, and ask him what apparel he will wear. Another, tell him of his hounds and horse, and that his lady mourns at his disease. Persuade him that he hath been lunatic, and when he says he is, say that he dreams, for he is nothing but a mighty lord. This do, and do it kindly, gentle sirs. It will be pastime passing excellent if it be husbanded with modesty.
My lord, I warrant you, we will play our part, as he shall think by our true diligence that he is no less than we say he is.
Take him up gently and to bed with him, and each one to his office where he wakes. Sirrah, go see what trumpet is that sound. Be like some noble gentleman that means, traveling some journey to repose him here. Hello, welcome to Talk Shakespeare. On today's episode, we will discuss Scene 1 of the Induction of the Taming of the Shrew. Macallan, what are your thoughts on the performance tonight?
Well, Ashley, I have to say, I really enjoyed this performance. The actress's portrayal of the characters was magnificent.
Yes, it was. And did you see the costumes? They were fabulous.
Yes, indeed. Many critics have differing opinions on the purpose of the induction. What do you think the purpose of the induction is?
I think the induction is used to foreshadow many of the themes that are later seen in the play. One of the main themes it portrays throughout the play is the idea that a person behaves differently based on their surroundings. This is shown to the character of Sly. Before he was kidnapped by the Lord, he was a poor, lower-class individual. The way in which he spoke and carried himself made it apparent to the audience. In addition, his aggressive and rude tone shows his uneducated and poor background. After being taken to the Lord's home and surrounded with luxuries and servants, his behaviors changed to accommodate the environment. These surroundings forced him to behave like a different person.
I agree with your insight. However, I do not believe the induction is necessary to show this theme. Later in the main play, the relationship between Catherine and Petruchio portrays the same theme. Petruchio is controlling and forces Catherine to play the part of the ideal wife. Even though she does it unwillingly, the environment she is put in changes her behavior.
That is an interesting point. I agree that the induction may not be necessary to portray the specific theme, but it is vital for introducing many other themes that are crucial in the rest of the play. For example, the topic of social classes is first introduced in the Induction. In this scene specifically, the differentiation between social classes is seen through the Lord's diction. When he first sees Sly passed out, he quickly assumes he's less than him without knowing who he is. This emphasizes the idea that physical distinction was a main part of the class system. He refers to him as monstrous beast and describes him as loathsome. This negative diction shows the audience that Sly is in a much lower class than that of the Lord. In addition, he compares him to a pig when he says how swine he lies. This comparison shows that Sly is nothing more than a dirty animal to the Lord, which is why he finds it so easy to take advantage of Sly's social status and use him for his amusement.
Also, along with the idea of physical distinction, during the performance, the costume of Sly made it apparent to the audience that he is of a lower class than the Lord. While the Lord was wearing a crisp white shirt with a nice scarf, Sly wore an ill-fitting white shirt with a baggy vest. Also, did you notice the cuts and bruises on Sly's face, making him appear dirty compared to the Lord? The servant's attire is not as fancy as the Lord, while being better dressed than Sly, showing that his class is somewhere in between the two. Also, it's really interesting how the servants obey the Lord and don't question his plans and motives. The Lord's plan does not in any way take into consideration the mental health of Sly or the effects his cruel joke will have. The Lord asks his men what they think of his plan, and they say they support the Lord fully, as they have no choice. Shakespeare uses the characterization of the servants to show social classes during this time period. The classes are clearly displayed as the servants must do everything the Lord says because the Lord is very high in the class system.
Speaking of the class system, do you think one social class was set in stone from birth during this time period?
Yes, I think social classes are set in stone. During this time period, people were born into their social class. Even though it may appear to Sly that he has elevated the class system, he must return to his lower class after the Lord is done playing his trick. Therefore, Sly did not actually change classes during the play.
I agree with you that one social class was set in stone, but at the same time, I also feel like this scene shows that someone can be easily manipulated into thinking they are of a higher class. When the Lord explains to his servants what he plans to do to Sly, he says that luxurious clothing and food would force Sly to forget himself. In today's world, this would never happen. Sly was convinced that he was of a higher class simply because the people around him said he was. At the same time, I agree with you that just because Sly was convinced he had changed social classes, it does not mean he actually did. I believe the class system was not flexible and you were not born into a social class, and it was extremely hard to change it.
I agree completely, Ashley. Well, look at the time. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have today, folks. See you tomorrow at 4 for a discussion of the Induction Scene 2 on Talk Shakespeare.
Bye-bye.